So yeah, to me, the church, God, and the Bible were all created by the government to fool the masses of asses into scaring them straight. Because if someone is scared straight, they become better workers. They become more obedient when they're scared straight. So like the church, like the government created or the organized school system or manipulation system, and they created the organized religious system. The church, I mean, the government created that stuff, not God. God has nothing to do with that. Nature to me is God on earth while you're alive. Nature is God on earth while you're living on this planet. When you die, maybe you meet a spiritual God. I don't know yet. I really don't know because I'm not dead. At least I don't think I am. See, here's the other thing about death. You don't know if you're really dead or alive because no one knows what it's like to be dead. That's what trips. That's something that trip you out. You could die every night you go to sleep. You know, and you just wake up and you're alive again, and the next night you die when you go to sleep, and when you wake up, you relive again. That could be how it works. Who knows, right? I keep thinking that. Maybe when you go to bed at night, you die. When you wake up in the morning, that's when you come back to life. You come back to life. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like when you reach that fourth realm of sleep, where maybe you're dead at that point, and like other people who are awake, they come over and look at you. You're dead, but you're actually sleeping, and the next morning you wake up, and then you're live. You're alive again. Like you wake up in a different world. Like every morning you wake up in a different world. You know, and every night you go to bed, you die from that world, and you wake up into a different world. And that's something that think about or trip you out. But anyway, this Baptist church. I'm gonna get back to this church where I figured how big of they're just phonies. Because so he never I never ended up working the festival because he never promised anything to me that first of all, because he didn't I couldn't take him at his word anymore. I couldn't take this priest at his word anymore because he kept lying. He kept promising me things he never. So I never believed anything he would say after that because everything he would tell me would be a lie. And he was a Baptist priest, and I mean, on the outside, he was like always real nice, real polite, because it's a show. It's a show to get you to join their freaking church. It's a sales pitch. But anyway, priests have different ways to do it. Some are real vicious. You see them priests on the street corner, like damning everybody. That's just a sales pitch to get you to scare you into joining his freaking fraudulent church. See, the problem with Alabama and Mississippi, the reason they're still poor is because the Bible Belt is on. It's the Bible Belt. This is what's made the South truly poor is the Bible Belt. The Bible Belt's been, the Bible Belt has just been whipping the South's ass for years, and then or they use the Bible Belt to just strangle the South for years. That's why it's poor down here because of the Baptist Christians, because of the religion, because they run this area like the mafia because they are the mafia, and they act just like them if you push them. If you don't, what I'm saying? The damn religion down south. It is the mafia down here, and they're the reason. They want poor people living in Alabama and Mississippi because then the church can prey on them. The churches down here can prey on them when they're poor, because the churches are only needed when you have the needy, right? When people are down in their luck, that's when the church. That's who the church wants. They want people down in their luck because they're needed by them. The churches are mostly needed by people who are down on their luck. Like if businesses start moving in and people in the area start making money and having fun and starting to enjoy their life, they don't need to go to church anymore, because they've been blessed, okay, and everybody gets blessed in different ways, and everybody likes different things, and that's okay. But that's what it is. It's like churches want people they can prey on, and they do it for the money because churches they get federal funding for the people they take in. Okay, it's called tax breaks because the government is the one who created the organized religion. That's why it's allowed to exist because it's another government entity. It's another government-run entity. The churches here in the U.S., especially here in America, the Christian Catholic churches, they're all created and actually run by the government. That's why they're still allowed to exist. They're pagan religions just like all the other ones. It's just that it's their government created pagan religions, which means that the government creates it. Since the government is God on earth, it's allowed to be, and it's actually pushed onto the masses of asses because the government, if the government controls something, it wants to push it on the masses of asses because the government has the most to gain from it. Your obedience through their government created God, the government created Bible, written Bible. This is the way I think. This is the way I totally see it now. God speaks to you if there is a God, not through others. Okay? He doesn't speak through a hell-spawned priest. I think all ministers and priests, if there is such thing as God and Satan, they're going to meet Satan. Because who are they to speak for God? They're hypocrites. I mean, priests and ministers and all these religious leaders, they're the biggest hypocrites on the planet. They really are. They're do as we say, not as we do. They're humans. Priests are freaking humans. Okay? Who are they to tell any other humans what to do or what to believe? Nah, man, that's a false idol right there. And there's no other way to say it. But anyway, in this church, and I didn't believe this guy anymore because every time he'd promised to do something, he never did it. But then I found out the real truth, okay, about this, how screwed up and how fraudulent the whole Christianity crap is. The campground I was staying at, the owners, their mothers, they were like older women, like in their 70s and 80s. They watched over the campground. They lived in a house behind it, and I saw it was Sunday, and see, I tried to join. Like Sunday, I went to try one of the sermons. They had a sermon on Sunday. I actually went to it. This Baptist church, I actually went to it, and they were having a service, and I decided to give it a shot because I like to experience things before I talk about them nowadays. So I went down there. I was real nice. I tried to be real nice, real polite, like I thought they would be. And they were the most belligerent, classless, meanest assholes I ever met in my life. Just completely grumpy, completely just not nice people to be around. And there was one thing that really pissed me off because there was this younger girl there, and she was having she had problems like physical, and she was in real big pain. She was like in real pain. And like no one would do anything like that. Like no one really cared. You could tell she was like grimacing in real, just pain. And like her parents and everybody else are like, they're oblivious to it. They're like in a different freaking world. They don't even notice it. Because these fanatical Christians, that's what they are complete nutbags that belong in an insane asylum, not in a church. They belong in an insane asylum. I saw this. I couldn't believe it. And then they finally, after a while, they start talking their godly crap. They finally get to her, like the priest, the Father Blackwood, that was his name. He takes his phone out like he's gonna call like an ambulance because this woman's in like real bad pain, and he just sits there. He has his phone in his hand like he's ready to dial, and he just sits there and keeps talking his religious crap to every, and like he's just taking his moseying old time. That woman's like, look, that little girl, she's about ready to die. She's in pain. He's just da 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 da. The priest is just like looking like freaking like deer in the head, like this stupid look on his face, just holding his phone like a brainless moron. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? Because they expect God to do all their work for them. See, God has forsaken your churches because he's sick and tired of you bugging him for every little thing your freaking little babies need. God forsaken religion a long time ago because you people bugged him too much with all your, and your bunch of frauds. See, God knows your frauds. That's why he's forsaken your churches and all your people inside. You're all about money, and like they have this church here called Hillside. I think it's called Hillside Church. It's a real big church, and that church, they pray to money. When you go to those real big Baptist churches, they pray for the money. They're praying for Satan in those churches. That's not, God wouldn't have a church like that. Satan would. A nice big, unbelievable cathedral type church. Only Satan would have something like that. He'd want his followers to be in a place like that, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I'm gonna get to the real point that just proves that Christianity, all this religion, it's from hell. It's from hell, not heaven.